Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome back to something a little bit different. Yes, so far this week we have obviously been smashing through career mode and everything like that on the channel. A massive thank you to everybody for all the support on the videos so far. But today I thought, you know, first week of F1 25, why don't I try and make this basically as difficult as I possibly can for myself? We've come to Monaco, obviously the jewel in the Formula 1 crown. The real-life Grand Prix being last weekend. Just a little one between you and I. I'm actually recording this before race day Sunday, so I've got no idea what happens. But I thought today we were going to attempt a 100% last of question mark challenge driving as Lewis Hamilton. Of course, his first year with the Ferrari team in 2025. Of course, Ferrari and Charles Leclerc won this race last year. Can we somehow do it from the back of the grid? Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. A massive thank you to everyone for the support so far on the F1 25 game as well. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head here to Monaco.
It's Monte Carlo with history, glamour and a uniquely tight and claustrophobic challenge. One that over the course of a lap sees us tour an entire country. Welcome along to the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars will climb around 40 metres up the hill, past the casino, and then descend towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of 19 corners, and don't expect to see much overtaking here today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Piastri, Max Verstappen and Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Antonelli, Stroll and Carlos Sainz, Behrman, Albon, Esteban Ocon and Bortoleto, Lawson, Hülkenberg, Pierre Gasly and Isaac Hadjar. Doohan and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
All right, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix, of course. The toughest challenge in Formula 1, a 100% race, 110 AI, sim damage, the works. I've tried to make this as difficult for myself as I possibly can. Now, I don't believe the two-stop is forced inside the game, but tyre wear here is probably going to be a little bit weird. It's going to be more about avoiding the Armco barriers than it is going to be about anything else. But 78 laps here from the Monaco streets. The team have put us on a set of hards for the start. I think they just want us to try and go as long as we possibly can in this first stint and maybe get out of traffic. But the 5 red lights are on here in Monaco. And it's going to be lights out. And oh, wait, we go. They're all Gasly not getting off to a particularly good start. We might be able to get past both Alpines. Or on the run towards someone there. A little bit of contact with Jack Doohan, as I thought he'd back out of it in the middle, but apparently not there. We should still hopefully get past the Australian as we make our way up the hill. But yeah, Gasly's bad start ended up scoring over Jack Doohan and myself a lot more than it did Pierre Gasly. We're just going to have to take this opening lap really kind of nice and tidy, not too risky or anything like that. There's Jack Doohan there. I wanted to have a look down the inside, but apparently he'll slam that door shut in my face. I mean, look at this in towards the hairpin. Lap 1. It is just, I mean, you are crawling through, desperately trying to find some space, maybe getting around the outside of Doohan, which we will. So up then into P19 off the start there. Gasly, second year in a row, he's gone side by side with another Frenchman down through in towards the tunnel through Portier. And then again, we've got a big run off the corner. Can we make it 3 wide down the hill? Thought about it there. Gasly will go late on the brakes around the outside of Isaac Hadjar. A little bit of a cut over the curb. We will try and go around the outside of the V-carb in towards the back there. Everybody just trying to stay out of too much trouble at the start of the Grand Prix, but a bit disappointing, of course, for 2 of our French drivers to be way down the order, ready for the start of this one. Charles Leclerc, though, the local hero, he has taken the lead from George Russell on this opening lap there, as I think Hajar, yeah, nicked the wall. We saw him do that, I believe it was in free practice over the weekend as well.
DRS enabled.
We have just about survived lap 1 then here on the Monaco streets. Yeah, Jack Doohan, sorry, Isaac Hajar even. What tyres is he going to move on to then? We'll have to wait and see. I think he's stuck with another set of the mediums, so doesn't fancy gambling it on a set of the hard compound tyre. But of course this circuit is absolutely critical that you settle into a rhythm, you get confident nice and early, otherwise you are not going to be in for a fun afternoon. Let's try and wind our way down the hill there, a little bit understeery. I thought maybe we could get a run on Pierre Gasly out of Portier again, but that's certainly not going to happen.
Make use of the overtake button and see what you can do.
Well, not too much to worry about. We've still got 76 more laps here to try and make an impact, of course. This is normally the AI's weakest track on the F1 calendar, hence why I've opted for the 110 AI ready for today's race. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below where you think we're going to finish this one, because it is going to be a very, very interesting test. Leclerc again, another new fastest lap, as we will get some DRS on Pierre Gasly there, who's very slow through Larascas. Can we use the battery? Can we use the DRS to get a run on the Alpine back in towards turn 1? To the outside we'll go in towards that first corner. And clearly this Ferrari's got some speed.
Still looking good.
Happy with that. Up into P17. Well, the AI, they seem to be really hesitant through Rascas early on here. Complain too much as Hulkenberg looks like he's dropped out of the DRS range of Liam Lawson, so they're going to go for another one then. Around the outside down towards turn 1. Nico there, just bouncing over the curving ever so slightly on the inside, but we will get around him as we make our way back up the hill. Make sure we give each other the room. Gotta be respectful around this circuit. It's not the kind of place where you want to make enemies, otherwise you'll find yourself on a very defensive drive. One thing I have learnt though in this first week of playing F125 is you've got to be so careful trying to build up temperature in the tyre. Otherwise, you know, you can easily take around a circuit like this 10-15 laps out of them just by kind of not doing the heat cycle at the start of the stint correctly. Well, we've rocked up to the back then of Liam Lawson here, and you've just got to be super careful. You know, early on, you see the V-car there just struggling to put the power down out in towards the tunnel. But yeah, we've definitely got a lot more straight line speed than I was expecting. I don't know kind of where the AI are trying to use their... battery!
New strategy available on the MFD.
Love that from Liam. Just completely broke on the racing line. Have we got another set of hards? No, we don't. That is very annoying then. We might be able to box back over to that set of hard compound tyres a bit later on in the race. But yeah, Liam Lawson there just parking it on the exit of the chicane there, and well, that's going to mean we're having to come in for a very early pit stop in this Grand Prix. We're going to be back out down with Isaac Hajar then. Not the end of the world, there is still plenty that can change, plenty that can happen, and if anything, getting ourselves in a bit of clear air might not be the end of the world. But yeah, just a little bit frustrating there. There is Isaac Hajar. Can see him down the other side over the wall. But yeah, that's going to relegate us back down then at very best to P19. I think we will stay ahead of the Frenchman. It really hasn't taken us long then before we've got back to the rear gearbox of Jack Doohan. Not trying to imply that he's got a front gearbox, but yeah, we definitely have caught back up to him here, as we're going to have to start making some overtakes yet again. Quite surprised that the DRS zone is working so well for us. So I thought about it down the inside of that final turn, but just the AI... They will quite happily turn in on you there. I found that out the hard way in a couple of my practice laps that I ran around this circuit. But can we get a run then up the hill in towards Massenet there? Again, just you feel like you found a window and you just can't quite use it against Jack Doohan. Again, got to be so careful that we don't pick up more front wing damage here. After we got that wing replaced, I mean, we are just filling his mirrors. This is like Mansell versus Senna all the way back in 1992, and just everywhere we go, that Alpine, I mean, admittedly, normally is much wider than Senna's McLaren was back in the day, but yeah, he's still doing a very good job of making that car as wide as he possibly can. Try and get a run, though, out of the tunnel. Have a look to the inside of Jack Doohan, slightly later on the brakes, get it slowed down, throw it through the chicane, and back up then into P18 of this race.
Good job, nice overtake.
So effectively then, we've already nearly made back up the pit stop time that we lost. And again, this Ferrari, you know, should comfortably quicker than some of these other machines. Leclerc already making his way in towards Sector 2. Oh, Alpine had a terrible qualifying session IRL here over the weekend. Maybe they did better in the race, maybe they didn't. You guys will have to tell me down in the comments below, but they've already been able to get back past one of their cars. Are they going to be able to find a way around the other one? Here, Gasly to the inside up at the top of the hill. Actually making easier work of him than we did his teammate there, but still side by side through Casino Square. And I mean, you just hear that car scraping over all of the bumps. Don't run wide down in towards Upper Mirabeau. It's so easy just to not kind of get the car caught on the inside curb and then just understeer out. But yeah, as long as we can get past Liam Lawson again, effectively we won't have lost anything in this race apart from a few laps. Let's see if we can run deep then through the first part of the Raskas. Oh, Hulkenberg again. Really did try to park it there, and well, we were down the inside. I believe he slapped the arm code, but we've picked up a tiny bit of damage.
You've taken some minor damage.
Not really sure there was a lot I could have done in that scenario. Nico there, we definitely were, you know, quite alongside him. It was, I think it was Ollie Goethe in the Formula 2 sprint race got a penalty for a move fairly similar. But you're kind of there going, how do you expect anybody to overtake around here unless the other guy's basically jumping out the way? There's always kind of going to be a little bit of rubbing and bashing around because it's Monaco and these cars are far too big. It kind of is what it is. Well then, Liam Lawson, this was the one I struggled to get past last time round. Can we do it this time? Oh, it's certainly not there. Kind of got to be alongside the car in front. If we want to try and go for a move up at the top of the hill. Maybe down in towards Upper Mirabeau. We'll muscle our way to the inside again. Just rattle off that inside curb there. And Lawson, well, we know he's a pretty tough customer anyway in Formula 1, but around this circuit, he's always, I think, going to try and throw his weight around a little bit. We all know the Liam Lawson song, of course. Can we try and get a run then out of Portier, just like we did on Jack Doohan a couple of laps ago? Surely we can have a look to the inside.
Tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Oh, and again, they're just really commit on the brakes, force the other drivers to kind of back out of it. As long as we get it slowed down and stay within track limits, there's not really a lot they can do. Esteban Ocon then, I think he's been a little bit disappointed to have been stuck behind Gabriel Bortoletto so far in this Grand Prix, and maybe now he's about to get stuck behind a Ferrari car as well, as well, the best running Frenchman here, P14, was the position that Olivier Panis won this race. Well, back in 1996 there, but Ocon, again, a bit like Liam Lawson before him, tries to cut the chicane just to kind of hang on to the position rather than backing out of it. And again, it's a fairly futile exercise. I believe it was Piastri did that back on F1 24 against me, and because of it, actually did pick himself up a time penalty, which was a little bit peculiar. But yeah, through the final couple of corners there, you can see every single AI is blending the throttle there. It's almost like they've... I know the AI have got traction control inside the game, but it's almost kind of like they've bogged down, because it's not really what I'd expect from 110 AI to be leaving a bit of time on the table like that. But of course, they've got to be 110 for controller players, which around Monaco, a wheel is going to be at least a second a lap faster at bare minimum. You just cannot get the precision on a controller, but maybe we can make it 3 laps in a row. How do we get past one of the AI down through the tunnel? I feel like Sergio Perez there, that was always his favourite overtaking place back in 2013. They just roll on that throttle nice and tidy. We have got fresher tyres. And basically everybody else in this Grand Prix to the inside of Gabriel will go. Nice and late on the brakes again, and another one ticked off the list. Oh, Albon, huge slide up over the top of the hill. You don't want to do that one too many times, buddy. Got to be really, really careful there that he doesn't absolutely cook the rears. Otherwise, he's going to be struggling. So we've got yellows out. Someone might be breaking down a little bit further behind. Oh, I think we might have a roadblock. I think Esteban Ocon's gone round. And that could be a red flag. Yes, it is. So red flag then here in Monaco. And that kind of helps the AI out, because of course they haven't pit yet. So they'll have a free pit stop in this Grand Prix. But yeah, Esteban Ocon there, I believe that was going for a spin in Upper Mirabeau. So we'll not be happy with that one. But okay, I think that's our first ever red flag in this game.
Let's think very carefully about our strategy for the rest of this race.
So yeah, I think the best port of call is actually going to be go back to the hard compounded tyre and try and take those as far as we can into the Grand Prix as well. But that'll mean Charles Leclerc's advantage at the front has been absolutely crushed.
Stand by.
5 red lights on the grid though again here in Monaco. And it's going to be lights out and away we go there, getting off again to a fairly good start. Antonelli hasn't done, so we're going to have to try and have a look to the outside line in towards turn 1, 3 wide. Oh, just in front of me there was, I think that was Ocon, just running into the side of me, losing a little bit of his front wing.
Let's use overtake and burn off some of this energy.
So Esteban, yep, we're going to have to try and find a way back around him pretty quickly there as Antonelli desperately trying to defend from the pair of those Williams cars, but to the inside of the Frenchman there, who of course caused that red flag, and has now caused himself even more
Okay,
pain.
we might need to look at a new race strategy after that. I've got some options for you, so go and check your MFD.
Damn it! AI there, I just forgot how badly they Constantina up off the restart, and again, whenever I seem to be on the hard compounded tyre around here, it just doesn't work for me. Constantly picking up front wing damage, so I'll have to bolt on another fresh set of the medium tyre and try and take them further into the Grand Prix. Of course, we've already seen early on that we can actually make that strategy work quite well and close back in on the rest of the field. I assume we might see Ocon in as well. Oh, at the end of that lap there, as you can see, the dirty air, the lack of downforce really compromising us through the final few turns. I believe, though, yeah, Charles has held on to the lead of the Grand Prix up at the front of the order, but into the pits we will go. Esteban Ocon is going to be following us in as well. Let's try to make sure that we get a good pit stop time this time around. Gasly's picked up a 5-second penalty, so it's been a pretty terrible day so far for the French Formula 1 drivers. At least Isaac Hadjar has been given a bit of a lifeline.
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
Well, luckily, again, we will stay ahead of Esteban Ocon in this Grand Prix. But yeah, Hadjar, I think, will just want to stay out of trouble now throughout most of the rest of the afternoon. But getting back out onto the circuit yet again. DRS now enabled. That's not going to matter to us for at least 10 laps or so, as it's starting to look a little bit overcast. As we near half distance, then of course our tyre advantage over the AI much smaller this time round, because of course they all got a free pit stop as well. But we're right up to the back of Isaac Hadjar once again then. See if we can try and get a rod on him out of the final corner. Despite the fact he's been given that lifeline, he seems to be struggling just to keep up with Pierre Gasly there, and you can see we couldn't get back to him by the time we got in towards turn 1. The Frenchman gonna try and go a little bit defensive. Certainly give me a big old squeeze again up the top of the hill. You just never quite know what the AI are going to do there. Is almost... I just panicked for a second. We were going to hit the inside wall through Casino Square. Of course, where Hamilton's car came to rest on Saturday morning, wasn't it, in free practice 3. Luckily, the team able to get the car built back up, ready for qualifying. So we throw the car, though, down through the bottom of the hill again, right out onto the waterfront. We've actually got a big run that time round on Isaac Hadjar, but again, not going to be able to use it where I wanted to. We will, however, get to the inside by the time we get down to the hairpin. A bit of wobble there, so difficult. If the car's unsettled, it is near impossible to try and find traction on this game, but luckily we just about do so. Oh, easy does it, easy does it. Come on, get back in, kind of get your eye back in again. That's what this track is all about. Pierre Gasly really struggling on the exit to back. Not going to be able to do anything with it, which is a little bit of a shame. And then immediately, to back is one of the very few high downforce corners around this circuit. You notice that dirty air inside this game as trying to chuck the car through the final couple of corners. Again, I can't risk it there. The AI, we saw it with Hulkenberg, they will just turn in. And I need to try and keep this set of tyres in good nick for at least a few more laps here. But of course, Pierre does have a 5-second penalty. Still not entirely sure what he picked that up for. You can already see, as the tyres kind of wear in, if you haven't got a big offset, it does become a lot more difficult to try and get a run on the AI. I think really our best opportunity still is down at the bottom of the hill. Obviously through the tunnel, but definitely just starting to work this rubber a little bit too hard. You have got to be careful with it. It is a bit more punishing than what we've seen in recent games there as Jack Doohan. I believe that was just getting a little bit out of shape, but this has been my favourite overtaking place of the afternoon so far, and hopefully we're about to pull off another one. It's just bide our time there to the inside of Pierre Gasly. Get the car straightened up over the bump, get on the anchors. So again, yeah, he's probably got to start defending that one. Again, I don't know how many times we've had to overtake Alpines in this Grand Prix, but they just do not get on the throttle through that final corner. Doing though, he's got the DRS.
Still looking
So
good.
we're not going to be able to do anything against him. In fact, look at that, he's actually got some very good top-end speed. We'll try and open up the run. Through turn one there, skim the wall on the exits. It's Liam Lawson who's holding up a little bit of a train of his teammate and the two Alpine cars. The car through Casino Square yet again, maybe this time to the inside of Jack Doohan. Don't want to just be going for overtakes in the same place every time, but I might have to. So we might not complete that move there, wheel to wheel around the outside. What of the Alpine? We bang wheels again. As Doohan there, unable to get the steering lock on over that inside curb, but around the outside. Through the Fairmont hairpin will go. That's probably the bravest or dumbest move I've gone with today. And then Liam Lawson, of course, one of the only drivers I noticed that was on the mediums in the first stint. Well, so that red flag really worked out well for him there. As just trying to scrub off speed down in towards turn one. Not really too worried about getting the power off the corner, because we managed to go around the outside of yet another one. Practically pushing Nico Hülkenberg along through those final few corners of the lap. He's tucked up behind his teammate Gabriel Bortoletto, so I think he made... Whoa, that was so close to Nico. Just suddenly decided at the last moment he wanted to try and defend a little bit more in towards that first corner. He was perfectly within his right to, but where I'd already committed, that was suddenly a bit of a panic to get on the anchors. That has given Gabriel, though, a little bit of breathing room as well, just in front of him. And as long as we can rock back up to the Kick Sauber car here, we will hopefully be able to still get a run on him down through the tunnel once again. I don't know how many times I'm going to have made that move today, but as we get almost a 50% distance here, we haven't really made the progress I would have wanted to be completely honest with you. In the first half of this race, we still haven't even ran a single lap inside the top 10. But down the inside of Hülkenberg will go. We are slowly getting there. Bortoletto, huge slide up through the top of Casino Square yet again. So certainly seeing some of the AI drivers there trying to find the limits around this circuit. And, well, I can't imagine Monaco being the home of a Formula Drift event, but you never know what might happen in the future as well there. We already see rally cars obviously occasionally doing some silly stuff around these streets, but Bortoletto then again not really wanting to put up a bit of a defence there. I think he kind of realises this is not his fight right now. As, I mean, yeah, we're up to P13 then. I think this is about the highest we've been today. But we're still, yeah, a few seconds away from Sainz, who I believe is 10th. Alex Albon then trying to hang on to Kimi Antonelli there. The Mercedes man, like I've said many times before, definitely his AI is far too weak inside this game so far. There's not a chance he should be, forced to battle, outside of the top 10 week in, week out. I'm not saying he should be as good as George Russell in this game, but he's also very unlucky, is young Kimi Antonelli. As could he be a Ferrari world champion in the future? That would be rather special. An Italian in a Ferrari winning a title once more as at the final corner. Oh, there's so much wheel spin, even up in fourth gear there. Fourth and fifth gear, but down towards turn one. Starting to debate when we're going to have to make another pit stop in this Grand Prix. Can we get a run up the hill using all of my available battery to the inside of the young Italian there? Of course, Lewis Hamilton's replacement over at Mercedes, still side by side as we make our way off the corner, almost banging wheels around the outside through Mirabeau, though. Keep the wheel speed, keep the momentum, give him the room through the hairpin as well. Get all the steering lock on as you possibly can. Again, just a light rubbing of wheels. We're still side by side. This is brilliant battling. And Antonelli finally decides to give it up by the time we get down in towards Portier there. But I tell you what, that kid, I've said it many times before, future world champion. I think, multiple world champion Andrea Kimi Antonelli. But for now, he's down to 12th. Let's see, of course, if we can try and overtake the man that we replaced. As the man right in front of him could be our replacement when Lewis Hamilton decides to retire from Formula 1 to the inside of sights again, timing the move to perfection. And for the first time in this Grand Prix, it took 43 laps, but we are finally into the points here. That's exactly what we need, but we've got to keep trying to move our way forward even more as Ollie Behrman just in front of me in that Haas car to the inside in the Raskas. First time I've gone for a move there today, but first time we made it work as well. And also then, of course, I don't believe has ever won this Grand Prix, has he, Fernando? Maybe I'm saying that now. Oh no, he did win it in 2007, of course, didn't he? In his one kind of year with McLaren, before obviously the McLaren Honda era, but yeah, I don't think he's going to win this one today. Maybe for all I know, he won the real life Grand Prix last weekend. That would certainly be a story.
2.4 seconds.
But yeah, today though he's struggling to even keep up with his teammate Lance Stroll at the moment, as down through La Rascasse again. And we're slowly making more progress. We have got one more set of medium tyre, so I think we'll probably take those at about lap 52-ish. Give ourselves 1/3 distance left to go on this Grand Prix. But yeah, I mean, these ones are really starting to slide around underneath us. Oh, Stroll's engine's gone. That'll be one less overtake we've got to make then. And Lance Stroll, a dramatic mechanical failure then in this Grand Prix. I've got no idea where he's going to go. Ugh! Oh man, I mean, he's got still Lance Stroll awareness, hasn't he? Moving back onto the racing line there right in front of me. And well, I think for the third time today then we're going to need a new front wing, a safety car. Would be absolutely perfect now, as that was really unlucky timing for us there to get caught up behind him. He's going to get out of the way of a few more cars, and I assume we'll take the escape road down the end of the back straight there, but oh, that is so frustrating. Lance Stroll confirmed out of the Grand Prix. Didn't take a genius to work that out, but where are we going to re-emerge then in this race with about just over 30 laps to go? Come on, come on, we need a good pit stop again. Our third front wing change of the day. We have been a little bit unlucky in that one. The other two maybe were a bit more kind of my own aggression got the better of me, but we should surely see the AI pit again before the end of this race, won't we? I can't see them being able to get to the checkered flag on this set of tyres there, as well. I think they're going to be battling with Isaac Hadjar on pit lane exit. He might just get the jump on me here. Oh, come on, take off the limiter.
We want to finish the race on this compound.
Isaac Hadjar there battling on pit exit, but he will just get around me. We really have to try and send it off the pit lane, but again, on another fresh set of the medium compounded tyres, surely we're going to have so much more grip than the V-car. We're almost pushing him through that corner, but we've got to try and stay out of trouble. How many times have I said that today? And immediately, rattling up against the Armco yet again, side by side through the hairpin. We've made this one work a couple of times before, and we will make it happen again. Well, we've certainly been able to get our mandatory 2 pit stops into this Grand Prix, but has Doohan jumped Gasly, or am I just forgetting what order they were in? I think Doohan was already ahead of him, wasn't he, in this race? I'll be very impressed if we've seen any kind of AI overtakes around this venue, to be honest, but down the inside of Pierre will go. And I think that's about, what, the third or fourth time I've done that against him today. And I mean, look at the advantage we've got. Admittedly, yeah, we have got a much, much quicker car than that Alpine as well. Wilson, we're going to try 2 laps in a row then, down the inside of another one, in towards Tabac. And, oh, like I said, we've got like 25 lap faster tyres. We've got a much quicker car. As we've seen so many times, the AI really struggling for traction, but as the laps are winding down here, less than 30 to go, we have got to start just making moves happen there. As, I mean, look at that. Hulkenberg, we tried that once earlier on. It didn't really work against him. We'll make it work that time.
Car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
I mean, that was almost a new fastest lap of the day with 2 overtakes in it, which is not bad going. But yeah, Bortoleto, though, again, we want to get back. Oh, into the top 10 there. It's Gabriele Bortoleto, a huge drift up over the top of the hill. I come from a long way back. He'll just about spot me. And, well, we might have been a little bit lucky on that one that he didn't put me in a wall, but I'm not going to complain about it, as I believe that is Ollie Behrman, who's causing a big old train of cars now in this Grand Prix. Everybody just kind of forced to watch on behind him as we get to the inside of Alex Albon in through the tunnel, and we will make another one work.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
I would hope we've got no issues with tyre wear. We are flying along. Another one. Kimi Antonelli How are these AI 110, man? They are so slow around this circuit. Utterly bizarre. I mean, if we can get back ahead of Behrman, then effectively we won't have lost out anything in these last few laps, I guess, apart from the one move there as well. Behrman, I think, had picked up front wing damage, because around the outside of Sainz will go as well. Verstappen, Russell, a few more cars starting to peel into the pit lane then, as where is Max Verstappen in this Grand Prix? He is going to be about 4 seconds up the road, so he's still got to try and jump a few people. Well, we've got the jump on Yuki Tsunoda as well then, but our teammate and those McLarens haven't opted to box yet. Could they be trying to go the distance for the checkered flag? I think if we can get past Russell and Max fairly easily, we're going to have to be able to hunt them down. Oh, come on, Max. Come on, Max. Gotta get on with it, buddy. Haven't got long left in this race now, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried. We might not be able to get back towards the front. We can see that time the AI able to get the power down, but they just don't seem to use their battery much around this lap. A huge dive, though, to the inside of the Dutchman there. So we won't quite pull it off on the exit. And yeah, Verstappen, I'm sure, will not be too happy about that one. Did give us the room, did spot me down the inside, but that was critical as well. Because what's that done? He's got him out of the DRS range of George Russell just in front. Maybe on the run back into turn 1 we can try and do something as we get right up towards the Red Bull gearbox yet again. Problem is, like I said, yeah, we've got no battery there as well. Piastri is pitting. So we've got the jump on the McLaren man here late on in the day. Could we see Russell actually, and Verstappen and myself, jump Leclerc and Norris? Because they've stayed out too long. But these front-running AI definitely are feeling a lot more 110-y than some of the back markers there. Verstappen able to definitely get the power down a lot better in a lot more places, but completely draining the battery though. Again to the inside of the Dutchman. Again, he will still be ahead of us into the corner, but again we will be side by side on the exit, wheel to wheel, in towards to back, and that time round we've made the move happen on the Dutchman up into P4 then of this race, and it's finally all starting to come together there as Norris in. I can only assume Leclerc is also into the pit lane, so George Russell might be back up into the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix here. Let's just wait and see. There's Norris. Where is Leclerc? No, Leclerc's staying out there again. But will he pit before this race is done? Oh no, Leclerc's in. Oh man, that's annoying. So there we go. Charles Leclerc is not going to play the team game. He's going to dive in then and hopefully try and take a fresher set of tyres to the end of the Grand Prix, but I'm still not convinced these tyres will go right the distance to the end of the afternoon. We might still need to make a swap to the soft compound tyre here, so we need to try and find a way around George sooner rather than later, because his advantage is just going to get bigger and bigger towards the end of the Grand Prix. But kind of feels like we went from being nowhere to battling for the lead fairly quickly actually in this race. It's down through the hairpin again. We will go. Russell, of course, took pole, but I believe this is the first lap he's led all day, just thanks to strategy and obviously getting jumped by Leclerc off the start. But he might only lead the one lap here as his old teammate's going to get a run on him down the hill in towards the hairpin. Surely you would expect Russell to defend that a whole lot more. Maybe we took him by surprise, but up into the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix we finally go. I've got to try and build a lead just in case we need to pit again. Wow, I mean, look at that. Look at just how much we're struggling suddenly to get the car slowed down into the braking zone. Luckily, it's about the only corner on this circuit where you can miss your braking point. So yeah, that settled it in my mind. We're going to make the call. We're going to be into the pit lane then at the end of this lap there. Just try and get the car slowed down through. I think we've set it up, haven't we, for softs? Yes, we have. Oh no, I got a 10-second penalty. Sorry, I thought we'd swapped off the speed enough, but apparently not. So not only have we got to try and get back into the lead now, but we've got to try and build up a 10-second advantage. I'm hoping we're going to come out ahead of Charles Leclerc by the time he makes it back out onto the circuit, but suddenly this race has been made even more difficult for ourselves yet again. So we'll come back out onto the circuit then on our set of softs. Looks like Leclerc is on the same tyres there as we fly out of the pit lane exit. But 15 laps to go. We've got to try and get past 5 cars and build up a lead. I'll tell you what then, of course, this is the first time all day that we've bolted on a set of the soft compound tyre in this Grand Prix. These things are rapid, but will they turn to jelly pretty quickly. That's the only real question I've got at the moment. They definitely can help with the understeer through to back when you're up behind someone else, but just trying to avoid the walls to make our way down in towards the Rascas, around the outside of Lando Norris there, who slaps the inside wall ever so slightly, sending it around the outside of the McLaren, and I think he hit the inside wall there. So Lando Norris might be in trouble, but with Charles Leclerc, clearly Ferrari have bottled the race strategy for our teammate today. We have got to try and do what it takes to get a win for Ferrari here. We need to try and get past Piastri and Tsunoda on this lap. As you can already see, Oscar really struggling as well. McLaren, considering how much they've dominated IRL this year.
But remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
Yeah, I'm well aware, thank you, Mark. But yeah, Oscar Piastri and McLaren not having the day they would have wanted either to the inside of the McLaren car. And, well, we are just taking no prisoner at this stage of the Grand Prix. We've got to be averaging 2 seconds a lap quicker than Russell and Verstappen towards the end of this Grand Prix. Yuki Tsunoda not going to put up much of a fight. Just about get it slowed down and don't hit the inside wall. There we go, this is going to be a new fastest lap, a 1:12.7 now as we are rocked back up to Russell and Verstappen in no time at all in this race. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it, where on F124 the kind of tyre delta offset was massive around this circuit anyway, because it just is. But obviously in F125, where that kind of everywhere has been massively upped around a circuit like this, I mean, we're going 5 seconds a lap faster than Verstappen and Russell right now. And, well, as great as that is, obviously pushing the car to the limits here, it does feel a tad unrealistic. As we'll try and get the power down then on the gearbox of the Dutchman. His medium tyres starting to give up the ghost there, but to the inside yet again. And the second Red Bull we've jumped down there in about 3 laps. Russell, though, again, he's been able to actually lead this Grand Prix for a few laps this time round, but I think he knows what's coming already. No idea how many overtakes we've made in this race. I'm hoping this is going to be the last one there. He's trying to get a run. Can we have a look to the inside through Larascas? Just avoid the inside wall. And with 10 laps to go, we are back into the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. Now we've just got to try and build the margin. Well, less than 2 laps to go then. I was hoping we weren't going to catch up to this next gaggle of cars, but Gabriel Bortoletto at the back of this train has been held up by Ollie Behrman throughout a huge majority of the second half of this race. I don't know how Behrman's been able to hang on as well as he has. Clearly the AI still can't make any overtakes there, as Bortoletto will jump out of the way fairly nice and easy. Doesn't feel like that long ago we were having to try and carve our way through all these cars for position. But 1 more lap to go then of the Monaco Grand Prix. I am now having to try and be really careful with that front left wheel. As you can see, we are still kind of wiggling around the circuit a little bit more than I'd like to. Just don't know whether Albon's going to dive out of the way or anything like that. But 1 more lap to go then, here from these most famous of streets. It has certainly been an interesting Grand Prix today. 3 front wings, a penalty for speeding, I think 4 pit stops throughout the entirety of the afternoon as well. 1 red flag added into the mix as well. It has been simply a Monaco Grand Prix. To remember there as, well, definitely these tyres starting to give up on the last lap. But of course, Hamilton took his first win here 17 years ago, back in 2008. He bagged another one in 2016 and a third in 2019. Could have won in 14 had Rosberg's qualifying antics not played a part, and should have won in 15 had the team learned how to count. But today, Lewis Hamilton is on track to become a 4-time Grand Prix winner here in Monaco. Listen to the boats sounding their horns on the final lap. That's pretty special as well. All the boats blasting through, but in towards the final few corners here from Monte Carlo. 78 laps, maximum AI, no mistakes, no rewinds, anything like that. With simulation damage through the final corner, it is going to be the victory here in Monte Carlo.
Checkered flag.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. That was hard work.
And Lewis Hamilton takes the checkered flag and once again wins.
They had to be decisive with their overtaking today as they worked their way through the field. And those kind of race victories are so enjoyable because it's not just like winning from the front. They really had to work for it today.
It's what every driver imagines when they start out on their long road towards Formula One. And for our lucky 3 today, here's the podium waiting for them. It's a familiar sight in Formula One, and here it is once again. Lewis Hamilton with the trophy held high, celebrating a masterful victory.
Well, there we go then. Despite 5 pit stops here, we will take victory here on the Monaco streets from the back of the field nonetheless as well. George Russell will come through for P2 ahead of Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda. Charles Leclerc a little bit unlucky to already walk away with P6. Clearly his Monaco curse shall live on as well there. Any other major surprises? I guess only Lance Stroll DNFing, but that isn't much of a shock. All 3 Frenchmen finishing inside your bottom 4 is a bit of a shame for them as well, of course. Not technically a home Grand Prix, but as close as they get currently in Formula 1 as well there. But thank you all so much for watching. I want to do a few more of these 100% races inside F1 25 over the coming weeks and months. Get yourself subscribed though if you're new. We're trying to obviously hit 150k on the channel at the moment. But yeah, normal My Team Career Mode service will resume tomorrow as well. And yeah, we will be back very soon with more Formula 1 content.